Hello Gaggers, my name is Andre from Team Gag, and today we're going to be talking about whether it's worth playing Riftbound in 2026. And just in case you don't know what Riftbound is, I bet you know what this is. And according to the official website, Riftbound, a strategic card game where champions fight for control of battlefields. And let me tell you what battlefields are, because you probably don't know what that is anyways. So basically, you can think of Riftbound as like King of the Hill. You're fighting for like this point, and you're wanting to hold control of it, or you're wanting to take over multiple points, and just keep scoring off points that way. And those points are usually called battlefields. And with the battlefields, they usually have like different effects for them. Like they'll help you get rid of cards in your hand to draw more cards. They'll help you basically prevent like an opponent's whole entire game plan. On top of battlefields, you also get to pick your legend, and your legend is basically your commander. And the cool thing about it being like a commander is that you basically get to center your whole entire deck around this theme or around this character or these units. For example, the Victor legend lets you tap or exhaust 1 mana, and when you tap or exhaust that 1 mana, you get to create a recruit. And that recruit is very similar and thematic to his character in Arcane. All jokes aside, Riftbound has been so much fun to play. It's actually my first trading card game since Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was drooling over my Valentine when I was like 8 years old. And I think the best thing about it is that you don't need a lot to play. You can get by with some cards like a starter deck, maybe some sleeves, something to store the cards in, and unsleeved. The rules are simple. Each player has a deck of 40 cards, including their chosen champion, which is a playable unit that matches their legend. You can also get up to 12 runes that function as your mana. In each turn, you'll gain a consistent amount of mana unless you're going second, and in that instance, you'll get 3 mana on your first turn. And this is kind of there to help alleviate some of the advantages that going first has. And honestly, this is a system that I really love because it allows you to plan ahead. It adds this like element of resource management that I really enjoy. So, you and your opponent roll to see who goes first, and then you guys will take turns going through the different phases of a turn to see who can conquer or hold a battlefield, scoring a point up to 8 points, yada yada yada. And this sounds very basic in theory, but the game becomes a lot more complex once you start looking at the battlefields, and then you start to understand a lot more of the mechanics of the game. For example, battlefields can actually alter each game drastically, and they can even change like the whole dynamic or gameplay of your deck. For example, Grove of the Godwillow allows you to draw an extra card if you're able to hold a battlefield until it is your turn again. While battlefields like Aspirant's Climb can actually change the scoring requirement to go up 1 to benefit more slower style decks. That being said, this card has been banned going into set 4, and so this list is going to keep going on, and it'll keep growing as the game develops. And we already have 4 sets out, with a 5th on the way. So I definitely think it's a good time to get into the game. And for the most part, where I live, cards have been pretty readily available. Pretty much anything except for Origins or Spirit Forge, which are the first and second set respectively, have been pretty easy for me to get. They have mentioned that they're going to keep doing reprints, and so you might see more availability in your area at like a later time. Also, besides that, starter decks are still a pretty good entry point to get into the game, with decks like Victor and Fiora being pretty decent, and they're also readily available and pretty inexpensive to upgrade. But speaking of like meta cards and things of that nature, Riot Games actually encourages players to not play the meta decks. At their regional events, you can actually earn these super amazing metal cards for being the best of player of a certain legend. The cool thing is, like, even if you're not playing in the main event, you can still go and play some side events, earn some tickets, and then still use those tickets to get cool pricing like similar metal cards. So if there was ever a TCG to do some cooking, this is definitely the one. I think one of the things I also like is that the game has a simulator, or I guess essentially 2 simulators. So if you're pretty hesitant about playing the game or you don't have anybody nearby who can play with you, there are a couple ways to play online, whether it is TCG Arena or Rift Atlas. But definitely try to watch some videos to learn the rules first before you get flamed for being a dweeb. And honestly, I think Riot is doing a lot of great things for Riftbound, especially in terms of their marketing and game direction, unlike some of their other titles. But it has definitely not been smooth sailing leading up to this point. You definitely have to remember that a lot of Riftbound players are probably League of Legends players, and we are very notorious for being toxic individuals. My locals have been full of super kind people, and honestly, especially the beginners. They're super kind and they're like eager to learn, and I even had one dude give up on our match so that I won the pack pricing, just so that I could teach him the game and explain the rules and look at his hand and not have it be like anything weird. And honestly, interactions like this are definitely the norm as of right now, but with more League players coming back to Riot's game spiderweb with League Classic, I hope it stays that way. You will definitely still get your typical stinky gamer boy that smells like White Monster and shit, which should honestly be pretty few and far between. That being said, there's still definitely stinky wee gamers online, especially when it comes to Rift Atlas and TCG Arena. I've been rage quit on, I've been called slurs, I've been called an idiot, I got into an argument with somebody because they didn't want to read the rules about what one of their cards do, just for them to say, just read the card bro and then leave. So there's a lot of stinky wee gamers. Next topic. Availability to get cards in the beginning 2 sets were abysmal. Unless you are ready to drop 2 to 3 times MSRP for a box, or wanted to pay $30 to $60 just to get cards that are essential to certain playstyles, you just really didn't get a product. Obviously, your mileage may vary, but where I lived, packs were 10 to 12 bucks a piece, and that's even at our local game store and GameStops. So unless you got super lucky and you found like a Target or your local game store has a heart, you probably had to pay substantially more just to get the fun of opening packs. Honestly, at a competitive level, just buy singles, it's better bang for your buck. Besides the availability issues and a small portion of the community being toxic, I've actually been having a lot of fun with the game. I genuinely think Riftbound is amazing, and I think their goal and their mission is pretty amazing as well, and I think the changes that they've been able to make from set 1 to set 4 now has been really awesome to see, especially when it comes to like the availability of product and like their ways of allowing you to, you know, report people on like UVS and all that kind of stuff. Because of Riftbound, I've also been able to get a lot closer to my friends. We've been hanging out on almost like a weekly basis, which is something we usually didn't do before. I've even made new friends, and a lot of us have actually started up this YouTube channel. I mean, there's like 7, 8 of us who are all making this YouTube channel together, so that's been a lot of fun. And I definitely think I've added some more wrinkles to my brain because of all the theory crafting that I've been having to do. Everything has been so fun, and I really recommend going to your local game store and seeing if they have any product, or seeing if there's any cool people there who you might vibe with, and see if they want to play with you or they want to teach you how to play the game. Because a lot of your local game stores, they might have an event called a Nexus Night, which is basically like a weekly super casual event where people will bring new decks, or a lot of new players will come in to play for the first time. Or if you get like super sweaty and you get super into it and you want to compete, you know, you can keep practicing, and then eventually you could participate into these events called skirmishes, where you do get pricing and you do actually get like play mats and stuff like that. Because truthfully speaking, it's a really easy game to pick up, but I think there's so much depth and so much variety inside the game that it becomes very difficult to master. That being said though, do not be afraid to try it out. The barrier for entry is really low. Like I said, it's my first trading card game since like Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was still like in the 4th grade, you know, just throwing whatever cards I want into my deck, just having a million Karibos, doing some random stupid stuff that like doesn't even make any sense. I hope you guys try it out. I hope you guys like the game. If you guys like the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what your favorite deck to play is. Tell me how your first experience went at your locals, or just tell me what your opinion is on the game. This is my first time doing a video like this, so I'm trying to improve. So please guys, leave any constructive feedback you guys can in the comments, and then I'll definitely review them. And then I hope I can make more videos that you guys enjoy and that make you guys laugh and smile. And yeah, okay. Bye.